Yeah,
Tough
no.
act.
Trust me, I know. So I was gonna ask, I'm not a go get you, right? I was gonna ask Chase, I'm straight. Stu, nobody gave me an answer, everybody laughed. Totally good.
Not that I can tell.
Okay, sweet.
Coach talked about your passion for this game. Where did that start for you in life?
At a very young age, I feel like I owe a lot of my football journey to my father, who started with my first football coach, but obviously my brothers as well. Being in the backyard, being a tackling dummy at a very, very young age. It reminds me of the clip I know, I think went a little viral of AD and his son going, practicing drills at the house. That was me and my brothers, so if that paints any image.
You had a big play against the Colts several years ago. What do you remember about that play, and how, if at all, did that help you kind of start your journey to where you're at now?
Yeah. You always everybody remembers their first one. Third down coming up on an in cut in overtime. Me and Matthew, I feel like we're having a good game. I remember playing Julian Blackman was one of the safeties for the Colts. He was playing all the at Utah, so I'm like make sure I have a good showing against somebody that my brother knows. Just being like, holy cow, like put my foot in the ground and there's nobody in there, and this ball is coming right to me. Like, man, I gotta find a way in the end zone, and like not knowing, everybody's screaming, everybody's slapping my head, I'm screaming, and then just seeing the post game clip of I just launched my first touchdown as far as I could. Luckily, I got that ball back, but I do remember that part of it.
Matthew took a pretty big hit before the time of that game. What do you remember about this battle and staying up there and getting to
I think those were some of the early moments, especially in my rookie year, of trying to figure out kind of how our team operates and finding that the toughness that our offense holds. Definitely a lot of it is on the weight of number 9. It's on his shoulders, and the grit and the intensity that he plays with and the strain that he's willing to have at the quarterback position is something that it overflows into the rest of our offense for sure.
It's just been 3 weeks, but you're at the top of almost every receiving chart except have not yet got a receiving touchdown. So what do you think it's going to take to break through, and I guess how hungry are you, just knowing that you haven't gotten there yet?
I think it's always exciting to get in the end zone, but I think it's been a part of our emphasis as an offense to find ways just to get in the end zone, whether it's running the ball, and I think that's something that we take pride in. That's something that will get you to red zone offenses, and red zone touchdowns is running the ball well. So doing my job in that, because I know there are times even within the games that we've won, in the Tennessee game and in the Houston game, there are moments where in the red zone where I could have done a better job blocking to get Kyron in the red zone, to get Blake in the end zone. So doing my part in that, and then also just taking care of my opportunities, knowing that my number's called in that area. I know I'm always wanting to every play take to do my job first, and then also try to get in the end zone.
Okay, like Nate kind of just said, you've been at the top of the charts in first man, first zone, inside, outside, all of that basically for your whole career. Without giving anything too sensitive away, what is your approach in man versus zone? How are you able to be so successful against both?
Well, I think trusting the process, being in the meeting rooms, and just being in having the time to understand what Matthew's thinking, how our concepts are being installed, and where the quarterback's going and where my opportunities are versus defenses that we're playing. Whether understanding, getting our indicators, whether it's man versus zone, and then just going to fundamentals. I think that's something that Coach Jarb, I'm grateful for his keys during practice, and especially on game day. Fundamentals will lead you to victory. So always having that in the back of my mind.
You were part of the run game against Tennessee, but what does Kyron and Blake, what they've done the last 2 weeks, how has that helped your passing?
I think when Matthew has a chance to manipulate less defenders, I think it's better for our receiver room 100%. So when people are coming up to pick the line of scrimmage, and they do such a great job, especially of their shaves and their ability to step up in pass protection, and that allows us, and you want to execute one for yourself, but also for those guys, what the strain it is for them to be picking up blitzes, the communication it requires between the O-line. So it makes it really fun, especially to block for some of those, and then also to the question earlier of, man, I got to do a better job of straining to that whistle finally blows, because they're doing a good job of running through arm tackles and finishing it until they can.
Puka, you're transitioning now into a runner. Talk a little bit about that.
I think it feels like the game slows down a little bit, but then also just trying to be more aware. I trust my physicality and my strength of being some of my strong suits, and then just trying to never be in a rush. I think sometimes I give defenders the easy way out, or sometimes falling down around them, maybe a little out of control. So being as sturdy as I can, but then also being protective of the ball as well.
How do you feel Tutu's impact on play on the offense in general? He's not necessarily stat.
What was that? Sorry.
How do you feel Tutu's impact on play or on the offense in general when he's not in the stat card?
I think it's huge. I know there's times that where Tutu's in the quarterback meetings with me as well. We're in there and we're having communication, and his ability to understand every position, I think, in our offense is something that is his skill set, a strength to his skill set, as well as being a vertical threat. And I think just his hands make it possible for every route for him to be run. And I think that's something that is exciting for us in our room when we watch him, because not everybody has the speed, but his ability to play aggressive to the ball is something that I enjoy watching from a part of his game, and it impacts everybody because he's known for being a smaller guy that is just tracking the ball 45 yards down the field, but somebody who's not scared to step across the middle and snag the ball.
Well, just after back-to-back weeks on the road, how much are you looking forward to being back in SoCal, especially with the home crowd for you guys?
Yeah, it's always nice to be back home, right? Nice to get an extra night of sleep in your bed. So it always feels good. And then, just to have our home crowd, see everybody wearing blue, and it was nice, especially going back to how it was week one, to have everybody rocking and be back at our home turf and then defend our home field.